Good day, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, let's discuss a new topic. So, this is our second tutorial, and let's discuss dimensioning. Well, of course, it's very important when we talk of creating drawings. Most important part is the dimensions of the length, dimensions of the angle, dimensions of the radius, or the dimension of the diameter, and so on and so forth. No? And if we talk of dimensioning, we have two. We have normal normal dimensioning, and we have derived or based or a function type of dimensioning. And so to start with, let's open a new drawing, still on the metric system. So I click on the create button. Okay. So let's start our drawing on the XY plane, or on the front view. And say, for example, I will draw a line, something like this. Okay. Let's say we make this one 50. And then I drag it up at 90 degrees. And then I go like that. And then I move horizontal. And then I move downwards. Okay, so this is my drawing. Now, if you notice, there are 4 dimensions needed for this drawing. Okay, so let's start dimensioning our drawing, for example, here. Let's say we make this one 50. Okay, let's say we make this one 25, something like that. Okay, now I have 2 dimensions needed. Let's say I will dimension from this edge to that edge here, okay, an angle of 75 degrees. I type 75. I have that one. Now, on your drawing, 1 dimension is needed. And we can dimension from that line probably to this point here. We change this one. Let's say we make this one 15, something like that. So once we do it, now the drawing is fully constrained. Develop. And if I add a circle, for example, here, and make this one 10. Okay, so the diameter of the circle is 10. No? I will delete the dimension. So you see, 3 dimensions are needed. What are these dimensions? The dimension from the side to the center of the circle. Let's say we type a new value, we'll make it 12, something like that. 2 dimensions are needed. The dimension of the center of the circle to this edge here, 12.5. This is exactly 1/2 of the height, which is 25. And lastly, I can hover my mouse and click. If you notice, I have a 10 diameter. But when I click the right mouse button here, and then I select dimension type, I can dimension it using the radius. So when I click on the radius here, my dimension switch to a radius dimension. So you can dimension a circle using radius or diameter, or using normal dimensioning here. And our drawing is fully constrained. So when I click on the finish sketch, like that, I pan my workpiece or I pan my drawing here. Let's say I go Southeast isometric, and then I click on fixed distance. So I have that. If I'm using normal dimensioning, and then I use, for example, the extrude tool, I select everything here, and then I go on the opposite direction, for example, and then I type a new value. Let's say make this one 40, something like that. Say 30, only 30, something like that. So this is how my solid looks like. And if, say, for example, I double click on sketch so that I can edit the dimension. If I would like to change this distance, for example, here, I'll make this one 100. That is the length. So automatically, they're all adjusted. And when I click on the finish sketch, this is now my new solid. Which means the changes on the solid takes effect when I change a single dimension. That is the length of my work. So I'm talking of this. This is the only dimension I change. So it takes effect on the solid from 50, I believe that's 50, to 100 mm length. No? Okay, do you follow? Well, of course, if I change this value, for example, I double click on that and make this one 35, and then I click on finish sketch, then that dimension is in effect with my solid. I'm talking of normal dimensioning. But how about the term dried or base dimensioning, or a function? How do I use that one? Okay. Now let me open a new drawing, for example, here. And then again, I start my drawing on the XY plane or on the front view. Okay. Now in this case, I will not use the line. I will click now here on the rectangle tool. So I click on the rectangle tool. I find this point. Actually, this yellow point is the 0, 0, 0. Right? X0, Y0, C0 of the Cartesian coordinate system. That is this point here. Okay. Again, I'll be drawing a rectangle. I find that point. It becomes green. I drag, for example, and then I click. I do not know what are the dimensions of this rectangle. So I will start dimensioning, for example, here. Okay, I'll make this one 100. Try to take a look. 100. So I have a 100 dimension. And then I will dimension this also. Now make this one 50. Okay. And let me draw a circle somewhere here. I'm looking at this point. Let's say I have a value of 10 here. Enter. Okay. Let me draw another circle, for example, here. Okay. I say another 10. I have two circles. Now, for dimensions are needed, I'm using the diameter dimensioning for my circle. So I will dimension from that edge to the center here, that will be 25. Okay, I will click on that. From the edge to the center here, let's say we'll make this one also, we'll make this one 20, something like that. Okay. Another dimension is from this edge to the center of the circle here. So make this one 15. Okay. And what else? From the center to this edge here, say make this one 40. Now you see my drawing is fully constrained. Okay? I'll try to take a look. When I click on the finish sketch, I have this one. Again, I'll go fixed distance. Now let me extrude this one. I will select that. I go on the opposite direction here, and then I will extrude it to a value of, let's say, 20. There you go. Okay. Now again, I will be discussing derived or based dimension. If I go back to my sketch, this is what I have here. This is my dimension. Okay. Let me drag it here. I have that. Again, a while ago, if I change one dimension, that dimension will take effect on my solid. I will change this one to 40 as a review. So what will happen is that the height is adjusted from 50 mm to 40 mm on the solid. Let's edit sketch. Now here comes derived or based dimension. Instead of typing a value here, I will click on this dimension. Now D0. This dimension is equivalent to D0, and this dimension is equivalent to D1, and so on and so forth. Since I click here, and then you see D0, when I click on the check button, you will see that the dimension of the height is equal to the dimension of the length. Okay? And you see here the two letters, fx. Fx stands or means you're using a function. So this one is a function, or this dimension is a function of this dimension here. This is how it looks like now. It becomes square. If I go back to edit sketch and then I change the base dimension, this is the base dimension, this is the derived dimension, or this is the function dimension. I will change this one to 200 for example. Automatically, if you notice, here is also 200. So when I click on finish sketch, it automatically adjusts. Do you see it? Now let me edit my sketch here. And then I double click here. Let's say I will change this. Let's go back. Let's make it a little bit smaller, 100. So this one becomes 100 also. I will double click on this. So this dimension is equal to this dimension. But I will type /4. What does this /4 means? It means to say that this dimension, being a function of this, or which is based on this dimension, is divided by 4. So when I click the check button, this is what you will see. 25. If I type 200 here, 1/4 of 200 is 50. Do you see it? So if I go back to my value, which is 100, I have this one. If I click on the finish sketch, then I'll have that. You see the circle is cut. Why? Because it's located here. You see that? So we'll not cut it. Let's make this one 150, for example. So it's inside now. And then I click on finish sketch. That is what I have. So here, this dimension is a derived dimension, or this dimension is based on this dimension, or this dimension is a function of this dimension. That is what means by the two-letter word fx. Do not worry that fx will not be seen in your drawing. It only shows that it is a function of one dimension. Do you understand? So here, for example, I double click, I edit this one. And then I click again here. It becomes visible. I will make this one divided by 8 again. And then I click on finish here. So what will happen to that is this hole, the dimension of this hole, is a function of the dimension of the length here. There you go. So try to take a look. I will change this one to 200. Try to take a look on this dimension and on this dimension here. So this is, if you notice, this is d sub o divided by 4. So 200 divided by 4 is 50. Correct? And this dimension is d sub o, or d0, divided by 8. So 200 divided by 8 is 25. So this is what we term as derived or base dimensions, or a function of a given dimension. Do you follow? So it's not that difficult. Okay. Now the next topic we'll be discussing is, again, in any CAD softwares, you will see this one. This is a very common tool. It's a very common tool. So the name of the tool is the CHAMFER tool. Okay? And when we talk of the CHAMFER tool, we have three. We can use a distance chamfer. We can use a distance and angle. And we can use two distances. And when we talk about the CHAMFER tool, we can apply the CHAMFER tool on your 2D drawing, or you can apply the CHAMFER tool on your 3D drawing. Actually, when we talk of CHAMFER, where we cut a part of the edges, the sharp edges, we remove the part of those sharp edges. Now for mechanical, or for engineering, especially mechanical, they understand what is the meaning of a CHAMFER. Okay? So let's proceed. Let's open in your drawing here again. And let's draw it on the front view. Okay? And again, we'll use a rectangle. We open, we select the 0, 0, 0, and then we type the value 50. Which is 50. And then you click the button to go to the second side, and then we type 25. So what we have is this. Our drawing is fully constrained here. Okay? Now, since this is a 2D drawing, here is your CHAMFER tool. So when you click here, this is a CHAMFER tool. You will see this. Now this one is equivalent to a distance. So if I change, for example, a value of 5 there, and then I click on this line and on this line, a chamfer is created equivalent to 5 by 5. So this is distance is 5 and this distance is 5. See it? If I click again on the chamfer and then I select, what is this one? That icon means distance and angle. Follow? So when I click here, we'll be prompted to enter. I'm sorry. By the way, we'll try to check a look. Distance and angle. This is distance and angle. By the way, this one is, sorry for that, distance 1 and distance 2. Okay? So distance 1 here and distance 2 here. So if I select this one, and then I say, for example, distance 1 is 5, and then distance 2 is 10. I select on this line here, or on this edge, and then I select on the other edge. So distance 1 is here, 5, and distance 2 is 10. Okay? Let me undo. I click on the chamfer. I select this one, distance 1, distance 2. I will change 10, and then I will change here 5. I click and click. So I have a 10 here. I'm sorry. I have a 10 there, and I have cancel. I can type a 5 here. And the third type of chamfering is the distance and angle. So if you're using that, you click on the chamfer tool, for example. I select this one. This is distance and angle. I type a distance of 10. Now, by default, the angle is 45 degrees. It means to say distance 1 equals to distance 2. Try to take a look. If I click here and then here, I have a 10 by 10 or 45 degrees. Follow? Let me undo, and then let me click here again on the chamfer tool, and then I will change this angle to 30 degrees. I select this line and select that line. And then click on OK. I click on Finish Sketch. Okay. And then I will hide Sketch Dimension Visibility Off. This is how it looks like. If I extrude my work on the opposite direction, this is how it looks like. Do you follow? So the chamfer is done on a 2D drawing. Okay? Now let's open a new drawing again. New, and then standard. And then I click, I will draw it on the top view. Are you following? I will draw a rectangle here. Okay? See, this one is 50. Something like that. And I will dimension this distance. I click and click there, if you notice. So I have a square. I click on Finish Sketch. So this is what I have. Southeast isometric view, click on Fixed Distance. Let me extrude this. Let me extrude it a value. I can type here or I can type here, doesn't matter. I type a value of 50, for example. So I have now, when I click on the chamfer tool, I will have this. I can click to minimize it or to maximize it. Now these functions are also here. So distance equivalent to this, distance and angle equivalent to this, and distance or two distances equivalent to that. So if I click, for example, here on distance, I click here. 2 mm, I type, say for example, a value of 5. I check, and then check. So that is the effect of choosing two edges. So if I click on that, that is what you see. I rotate, that is what you see. I go back. So that's what we have. Okay. So let me undo or redo. So I have done my cube. If I click on CHAMFER again, now I select. I'm using this one, or I can use this one. I click on distance and angle. Now try to take a look. When I click on distance and angle, distance 45 degrees, I will change this one to 10. And then the angle, say, it's 30 degrees. Okay. Now try to take a look. You're asked for the face. I will select this face, left click. And the next question that will be asked of you is the edge. I select this edge. There you go. So this angle here is 30 degrees. And this distance from that point to that point there is 10. Okay? If I click on that, and then I go on this view, this is what you will see. We will check. Okay. Let's span. Let's create a sketch here. And then we use the dimension tool. From that point to that point, there you go, that is 10. Now you see, when I click, adding dimension will overconstrain the sketch. Choose accept to create a driven dimension. When I click on accept, if you notice, the dimension, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Now that is a driven dimension. When we talk of driven dimension, that dimension cannot be edited. It is only there. And if I click on dimension, for example, this line and this line, I'm sorry, dimension, again accept. These are driven dimensions. So that angle there is 30 degrees. So if I go back on my home view, this is what I have. Distance 10, angle 30. On the CHAMFER, this is what you define. 10 and 30. Okay? Now, let's undo. Now let's use the third one. And the third one is two distances. When I click here, let me have a value of 20, for example, and a value of 10. Two distances. Select the edge. I click on the edge. There you go. So from the figure, you will see that this distance is 20 and this distance is 10. Follow? If you click on the flip button here or flip distance button here, it will be flipped on the other face. Distance is 10 here, and the distance from this point to that point is 20. Do you follow? So this is the result of doing it on a solid. Let me undo. Go back to the CHAMFER tool and select this one, distance. Let's have a value of 5. I select this. this, and then this. So there are three edges selected. Now try to take a look here. Try to take a look here. Okay? So we have here three uh, edges, three chamfer. But here there is a setback and no setback. What do you mean by setback? When you talk of setback, it means to say that you joins the you you join you join the chamfer, at a flat intersection. So this is how it looks like when there is a setback. If the selection is no setback, no, what do you mean by that? It forms a corner because we have three we have three edges. No? It forms a corner point of the three intersection, as if it was milled on three edges. I will select the no setback here. Try to take a look. This is how it looks like. Setback, that is how it looks like. No setback, that is how it looks like. If I click on the check button and then I rotate this, so if you try to take a look, it seems that this one is milled on this direction, and this one is also milled on that direction, and this one is also milled on that direction. Okay? So this ends our discussion on the topic dimensioning and the topic chamfer tool. If you find this video tutorial interesting, kindly like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.